Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Charles Tulip and today we are building an industrial artist loft. So I chose this lot which is kind of on the edge of the industrial district. It's one of the ones you can buy at the beginning of the game that's available to you, and it's right in front of the graveyard and the community center as well, so it's kind of centrally located. It's a good spot to live in. You can get around town pretty easily from here. So I just decided I didn't want the building to take up the entire lot like I had originally planned. I wanted it to be more of a rectangular building. So I'm adding the front door here and the front porch, so you can step up to the front door. I also wanted this to be a bit longer, so I extended that. And I love this door that I picked out. It screams industrial loft to me, so I think that's a fantastic door. I went ahead and lowered the second level a little bit. I was trying to match up the levels with the building next door, so I made all of the levels about the same height as the building next door, up to the third floor. And I'm gonna redo the walls here real quick because they were slightly overhanging the walls underneath them. I found that I had to start from the middle of the wall where I wanted the wall to end, basically, and that way I could actually get it to line up with the wall beneath it. So I'm also gonna put a balcony on the top here. I added some railing for that. And then I was also struggling to delete this ceiling piece that was over the balcony. So I fixed that by just going down a level and going back up a level, and then it allowed me to select that and delete it. I also copied the building next door, the roof style. So I did this little, I guess it's called a parapet roof, where you have the wall hiding the flat roof a little bit. I played around with some different wall heights, but I ended up just raising the floor on the roof a little bit. So it's not quite the exact same height as the building next door, but it is similar. Okay, so now I'm picking out some wallpaper for the outside, and originally I was gonna go with this blank concrete on the second two levels, but I switched that out for a stone finish, and I stuck with the dark gray color there. And then I also have the wood on the bottom level, so I think that is a nice mix to have those two different finishes on the outside. I'm also picking out some flooring for the little porch in the front and the balcony, and then also the roof. And you can see me in the carpet section here. It actually took me a second to realize that there is a concrete finish in the masonry section. So I did put the concrete on the roof, and then I ended up picking out a wood slats for the balcony and for the front porch area. So the front porch I just kind of matched with the wall color there, and then the balcony I went with the lighter gray. So now I am actually placing some beams along the top edge of the balcony, and the reason I did that was I just wanted to hide the white that was peeking through at the top of the wall. To me it was kind of distracting from the overall build, because the build is a darker color and it is gray. So I placed these beams here as sort of a finishing touch to hide that edge of the wall that peeks out the top. And then I also did the same thing to the roof. So I actually grabbed these beams again and I put them up on top of the parapet roof. And I was having a bit of trouble getting these to line up the way I wanted them to. Every time I went to rotate the beam, I would pick it up again and then it would rotate back to the 90-degree angle. So every time I picked up the beam, it rotated back, so I had to, in the end, just fiddle around with it to get the beams to line up with the angles that I had here. Okay, so now that that is finished, I am just checking out some different colors for the outside again. I thought maybe more of this black, but then the balcony actually looked too light to me, and I didn't like having the darker balcony, so I went back to this gray color for the finish. I placed the patio door up there, and I'm just changing that to the navy color to match the front door actually. And now I'm gonna pick out some windows for the front here. So the front door is a little bit, it's not symmetrical to the middle of the building. So I chose some different size windows here to go on the front. And then I decided I actually wanted this one window to be lower than the other windows. So in order to do that, I had to lower the floor inside of the main floor. And so I have the one part that is level with the front door. I have the part next to that that is a little bit lower to be level with the window. And then I am going to place some stairs here. I thought this would be a good time to figure out where the stairs are going inside the building. And I'm just getting some stairs up to the 3rd floor. I did need to have I found out I needed to have the floor underneath the stairs. It did not seem like I could effectively lower that floor that was under the stairs. So I kept that. I thought about doing a diagonal there. You'll see me bring that back later actually. I'm also putting some stairs down from the front door level to the main floor level there. And then I wanted to place a bathroom behind the stairs in the back corner here. So I was struggling with this because the wall, every time I drew it, would only have half the wall there, either the top half or the bottom half of the wall. So this part was a bit frustrating. I had to, in the end, undo everything I had just done in order to actually build that wall for the bathroom, and have that be the full wall. So then I extended out the part where the stairs were, and I did end up changing the downstairs area a little bit, so it was for the best, because I changed the floor plan slightly. I put these smaller stairs over here on the side, and then these stairs going up to the 3rd floor I realized were also in the wrong place. Eventually I realized that, but I needed to have the stairs up to the 3rd floor a bit more forward so that they would actually go up to the 3rd floor and not the 3rd floor balcony. So so I think I realized that here, and I actually placed those stairs where they should go. So what I'm doing now is I am separating where I want the loft to be and on that 2nd floor. So I am using the separator tool. I was having trouble with this again because every time I would draw that separator around the floor, I had a little gray triangle that I could not get rid of. So instead I leaned into it and I just went with more of a diagonal wall on the loft there, because I could not get rid of that little gray triangle. So I just leaned into it. I just went with the diagonal wall, and you saw me just put the diagonal downstairs as well. Up here, I'm going to do the same thing with the separator tool, just on a smaller scale. I'm using that to separate off the staircase. That way I can delete that floor that is behind the staircase and just draw the rail there. Okay, so now we're placing some more windows on the outside again. Here I wanted to have 3 windows up next to the patio door. And then I also thought about extending this window up, and then maybe having another set of windows above the 1st floor. In the end, I decided that was too many windows on the front. I just thought it was too much. So no matter how I separated the windows, I just didn't like it. So I went with a smaller window here, just above the the windows. So I grabbed this window, which you can actually make smaller, and I just separated that along the windows so that it stops right where the stone begins. And then I copied that again and put 4 more of those windows up to be smaller in the stone section of the building. So I like that window placement a lot more. At this point, I decided to paint the interior because I was looking through the windows and I saw the interior walls through the windows, and I just needed to paint those. So I went with this navy blue color on the inside. I thought that was pretty, and I just placed that window again because it kind of had disappeared when I was going down, up and down the floors. Okay, so now I'm actually picking out a wallpaper for the bathroom, and I originally went with this kind of purpley wallpaper in there, but then I went to the next floor up. Oh yeah, I actually changed that to the teal as well. But I went to the next floor up and I just copied these wall finishes across here, and then I thought I should have a wallpaper on the back wall of this loft. So I ended up going with the wallpaper here. I did like this one that had the sort of thin lines on it, but I ended up going with the wallpaper there that has the big brush strokes on it, which I thought was perfect for an artist's loft, and I went ahead and applied that in the bathroom too. Okay, so now at this point all of the floors and walls are all set inside the home. So I'm just painting the floors now. This floor, I wanted it to be on a slight diagonal. I could not get it to rotate the way I wanted it to, so I just left it how it was. And then instead of the gray, I decided to go with this darker wood that basically matches the walls on the inside, which is the same finish that's on the outside as well. And then in the bathroom, I did like this blue terracotta tile, so I ended up going with that. And I decided first to decorate the bedroom of this house. So I'm gonna pick out a bed here. I decided to go with the bed without the frame around it. It just has the frame on the bottom. And then I also wanted to pick out a different textile for the bedspread. So I almost went with this kind of zebra print, but then I decided to just go with the cushiony square look. I also wanted an end table just on one side because I imagine just one para living here in this artist's loft. So that is why I only did the nightstand on one side of the bed, and I put a lamp on that. And then I also picked out a painting to go above the bed. So I'm just making that a pretty big painting, and I went with the 3 dots inside the black background. I thought that was nice and simple, and it looked good there. I also picked out a rug. The rug is pretty simple, again just the navy stripes, and then I wanted to put an ottoman at the end of the bed, so I went with this square one. And then I went ahead and put a little clothing rack in this corner. And I just changed the color of the clothing rack to black. So you can see me do that there. And that is basically it for the bedroom. I did keep the furnishing pretty simple inside this home, and it actually did not turn out even as expensive as I thought it was going to. So for this home, I was aiming right around 40,000 paradigms. It ended up only being about 36 paradigms in the end. So I'm actually just now realizing that I had not placed any windows on this side of the building, so I'm going to do that. Definitely want a window in the bathroom, and then I picked out another window to go around at the top and the bottom of the staircase. And then I also wanted one small window in the bedroom on that wall as well. And that is the wall I had placed the painting on, so I just moved that painting over to the other wall. And you can see me adjusting that window just to get it exactly the length I wanted it to be. Okay, so now we're gonna head down to the kitchen, and the first thing we need is a bathroom door. I adjusted the color on this door. I kept the white frame, but I wanted the door to be a little bit of a darker blue, even darker than the wall. And then I also got the most expensive fridge and the most expensive stove. So, you know, I think the reason this house just didn't cost that much was because the furnishings are pretty minimal inside. I did want to keep it a more modern look, and I think that's why it ended up not costing even as much as I expected it to. I also learned that you can change the handles on the kitchen cabinets today. So I learned that today, so I went ahead and applied those changes to the cabinets. Grab a sink, and then I'm gonna start placing the cabinets overhead. At first I thought I wanted this little island counter to be sticking out next to the fridge. I decided that was too much in the way of the stairs, so I ended up deleting that and just went with the overhead cabinets. And these ones, it did take me a little while to get these all the right size, especially around the fridge and the stove. I ended up moving the stove here just because I wanted the stove to line up with the cabinets and the cabinets to line up with the stove exactly how I wanted it to. I'm also changing the handles on the overhead cabinets. Some of the cabinets, when I would adjust them, especially in the corner there, their handles were looking a bit odd to me in the corner cabinets. So that is why I just wanted to draw them out to be a very specific length so that the handles, you could see the handles on both sides, and all of that looked good to me. So I'm also adding a dishwasher. I think the Paras can use the dishwasher. I don't know, actually, because I have never placed the dishwasher in any of my builds yet. So I decided to place a dishwasher in this one. I also put a light fixture up here, which I thought looked pretty good, and a light fixture that will go over the dining table. So I grabbed this dining table, and then I ended up making the top, I changed the finish on the top of the table to also be black metal, rather than a wood tabletop. I went with the metal tabletop there. And then these chairs, I just wanted the seat to be gray on the chairs since we kind of have a gray and black kitchen, and I moved that light over to sit over the dining table. Now I also wanted to get some plants in this corner. This corner is kind of useless, so I just thought this would be a good place to place some plants, and I was just seeing if I could get another plant in there somewhere. It didn't really make sense to have another plant, so I just placed 3 plants in that corner, and then I hung one on the wall there. So I thought that ended up looking good. And at this point, I thought the kitchen looks too much the same with the rest of the build. So what I'm doing here is actually separating out the floor. And you can see there, it deleted a piece of my flooring right over the stairs. At that point, I actually reloaded the game from the last save point, and I separated the kitchen off camera. It deleted that section above the stairs again, but I was able to just bring that section back up level. So I did that I did that while I was not recording, just to make sure that I could get that all situated. So I did get the kitchen sectioned out how I wanted it to be, and then I also put this wall in the bathroom with a window on the wall. This is another trick I learned today, is to place this window on the wall, and then you can have kind of a glass wall for your shower. So I did that. I also got this sink that hangs on the wall, and I placed that. I decided it needed to be a bit lower, and then I picked out a mirror to go above the sink. I also placed some tile, the same tile that I had placed in the kitchen walls, but I made it blue in the shower. And then I pick out a mirror to go above the sink. So I went with this oval mirror. I think that one's nice and simple and it looks good. I put a little bit of bathroom clutter in here, just the toilet brush and the toilet paper. And I thought I did not need any more clutter in there. So I'm actually gonna place these plants again because I reloaded from the last save point. It had not saved these plants, but I got the same plants in there that I had already placed. Tried to make them the same size again, and I just had to move that light fixture over. So you could kind of see when I moused over that section of the stairs, there is a tiny section above the staircase, a tiny section in the floor, but I was able to draw that up to the same height as the rest of the floor, so it ended up working. I also placed a mat in front of the front door. And lastly, we are going to move on to decorating the loft portion of this artist loft. So I did place a keyboard and a guitar here. My Para has a talent for music, so I thought that she would like those objects. I placed the easel, and I placed a rug under the piano there. And then I actually headed back down to the kitchen to clutter the kitchen a bit. Sometimes I do not work in a very straightforward manner when I'm decorating a house, and I just kind of jump around and do whatever I want at the time. So I went downstairs and cluttered the kitchen, which I had not done yet. And again, I kept the clutter very minimal in here, just the microwave, the dish rack, and the coffee pot, and the paper towels, of course. In real life and in games like this, I do not like too much clutter on the kitchen counters. I feel like the kitchen counters need to be used and they need to be clean and free of clutter. So that's just a quirk that I have in real life and in the game. So I also picked out a couch to go up in this industrial loft, and a chair to go here in front of the stairs. I picked out a side table for the couch. That was a little too big, so I sized it back down. And then I also got this fun Rubik's Cube table, and I recolored this. So I recolored it from this swatch, and I made the green into a shade of blue. I also made the yellow into more of a gold shade, and I thought those were some nice accent colors to go in this loft area. And I placed this little mushroom light on top of that, since it is a table. And I picked out another light to go on this table over here. So I went with this one that has kind of the circular base. At this point, I also just kept going on with the lights, so I placed some ceiling lights in and around the house. And at this point, I realized that the ceiling up here was 2 stories tall, so I placed a nice long light right in front of the front door to hang down. And then I got a few more lights up here in the loft, and then in the bedroom I just placed a fan light. So at this point the decorating is basically done. I did place a couple things on the balcony up here. I placed a grill and a little table and chair set. And then I did a little bit of landscaping. I placed some plants up here on the balcony, and then I went in and painted mostly with the tall grass around the building. And then I placed a few bushes around the building as well. So you'll see me do that now. So I placed a few bushes out here. I also placed a few details on the roof, some vents and such on the roof, and an industrial looking pipe on the back of the building. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching this video today. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!